All right, so I'm Eklo, and I wanted to walk through my new track Spark with you and kind of show you what I've did. So let's take a look at this project. So it's about 3 minutes, maybe 3 minutes 45 seconds or so. Got, I don't even know how many tracks. Is there track numbers on here? Yeah, so 50 tracks. And yeah, it's a pretty simple song. So it starts off with just these acoustics. Hang on here. So it starts off with this acoustic guitar and a lead guitar. And then it's also got the kick drum going in the intro. And we've got a piano and also like just a kind of subtle bass that kind of goes in the verses. So all that is, so my kick here, I've got, hang on, I'm under drum meat, so I've got a bus for kick and snare, and I've got a bus for my other drums. So this is the kick that's going on in the verses, just kind of a 4 on the floor pattern, nice deep sounding kick, a little bit of filtering done to it. Sounds like this. So I've got the kick going. As for my acoustics, some automation going on with EQ to create like a swooping filter type effect. A little bit of mid-side EQ, so a little bit of low end cut out of the mids and a little bit where the vocal would sit. And on the sides, I've carved out quite a bit in the mid ranges. So that's the two acoustics. They sound like this. And it's 2 tracks recorded, like 2 performances, and panned hard left and right. So I got the left one and the right one. And one acoustic kind of mono sounding. Let's just check out that. So if I go to put my utility on here and sum that just to mono. I mean, it sounds okay, but it sounds way better like this. So a little bit of compression as well, and just a little bit more, let's see where we got the cut here, about 700. And this one, I kind of cut them slightly different just so we're kind of feeling the frequency spectrum a little bit nicer and things weren't competing. So that's all I did for the acoustic and the lead. Yeah, pretty much just a little bit of a roll off some of the low fundamentals and just to get a nice crisp lead sound. So a little bit of some sends going on here. So I've got some audio sent to a short reverb. So it's a Valhalla Room. So mix 100% because it's on a return channel. And then a little bit of pre-delay, about 3 seconds of decay, a little bit of high cut and depth, and then I've got my different settings here. So a little bit of reverb and a little bit of delay. So the delay is, I like to use this delay a lot, this replica. I got it for free actually around Christmas time, I think 2 years ago, maybe it was last year, I don't remember. But yeah, just like a little nice simple delay, and that just adds that little bit of added fill to the lead, make it sound a little bit bigger. So you can kind of hear that reverb. And what else? Piano is just a contact library, the Grandeur. I bought that piano pack where you get the 3 different pianos, and I like using this grand piano a lot. So that sounds like this. And I got this hold pedals down, so that creates that sustained note. That's why you kind of hear that piano ringing out like that. So rolled off a little bit of the low end, cut around 1K, and shaved off a little bit of the high end. And it looks like I'm filtering my piano, yeah, right here. So filtering out the high end, slowly bringing it up, letting more high end through. You can see the filter opening up right here. So that's cool. And then I think for, let's see, for a bass, I used Expand. So this is a cool multi-sampled library, all kinds of organs, strings, basses, polysynths, everything that you could imagine. And you can actually get it for like $1 or free even. I think I've seen it free, but I've seen it for $1 on Plugin Boutique. So keep your eyes peeled if you're interested in getting another sampled instrument. So that just means that there's different actual real world sounds sampled into this synthesizer, and you can kind of create lots of different sounds, similar to like the Korg Wave Station plugin, but this one's made by Air. So moving along, so that covers our intro. So let's just hear what happens after the intro.
Stopped and started with a little scratch. It brought us here and it took us back.
So we've got the main vocal.
Stopped and started with a little scratch.
So again, just on a little bit of reverb, a little bit of delay on it, a little bit of compression, some EQ, and this utility I'm just using to boost the gain a bit because I've automated the volume. So this is more of a mixing plugin right now. A little bit of de-essing and just a little bit of pitch correction. So I find with synthetic type sounding tracks, lots of synths and such, basically electronic music in general, when you put a vocal on an electronic track, it's so perfectly sounding, unless you're doing lots of detuning and such, but generally it's pretty perfect sounding. So you need a little bit of pitch correction on the vocal to make it sound a little bit less natural, and that kind of helps it sit in the electronic track better, in my opinion. So I always use a little bit, even if you have a really good vocal performance that's really pitch friendly, I still use it because it makes it sit nice. So we've got the vocal, our guitars are still playing in the verse, and we've got just a piano. So it's pretty stripped out for the verse.
It brought us here and it took us back. I prayed to find you when the world went mad. I lost it all when you were all I had. From time to time.
So we had a little bit of a thwap here. So that's cool. Looks like I don't know if it's like a reverse shaker or if that's just a sample. I think that's just a sample actually. And then it's just got some ping pong delay and some heavy reverb to give it a kind of an atmospheric vibe. So that sounds cool. Then our hi-hats come in. That's a nice realistic sounding hi-hat. Only lots of the high frequency coming through, and it's on the offbeat. So looks like our filtered kick comes in too. So we've got 2 kicks in this track. Our filter kick is very soft, and our drop kick is fully hammering. So yeah, so kick and hat comes in.
From time to time when I think of you.
And our verse bass comes back in, which is just a nice little. So it sounds, like a real bass mixed with a synthetic bass. So, yeah, so this is Expand as well, and it's called the Next Fretless. So I'm thinking it's supposed to simulate a fretless bass, but you can hear some synthetic vibes going on in there. And a little bit of sidechain going on from my filtered kick. And you see this little upgrade thing. I'm actually using a Live 8 Legacy compressor because I like this FF1 opto setting for compression for sidechain. So that's why you're seeing that upgrade. I'm using an old compressor from previous live version. Okay, and then we've got, throughout the track, we've got a lot of these reverse vocals. They sound like this. So what I did there was took a little piece of a vocal and ran it through a ton of reverb, and then bounced that audio down and reversed it. So you actually just hear the tail of the reverb actually is opposite, so it's actually coming from like nothing and building up. And then I ran through a little bit of reverb on the other side, so then when it builds up and sharply stops, it tails off a little bit from the new reverb. So Looks like I got two going on here, so this might sound cool. Let's see. Yeah. So nice long reverb there, so that kind of transitions into this.
Drifted out, it's where I've been, trying to find the warmth from the sun again.
Got this riser, building energy.
And slow, waiting on a message to come back home.
So then a sub comes in with these chords. And our piano's building up energy. Oh, then an ARP comes in with our riser. Everything kind of releases, and then we let our kick come in and have our drop. So we've got some different drum elements going on as well in the build up here. So a hi-hat. Oh, sorry. So really syncopated, like really lazy clap. That's kind of cool. And so it sounds like this all together.
Stopped and started with a
Oh, and then we introduced my vocal as well, which is just 2 takes layered.
Stopped and started with a.
And I probably use more pitch correction because I'm not as good of a singer as Jordan. A little bit of stuff rolled off on the bottom, some pitch correction through Nectar. I'm thinking that's all I was doing with it. Oh, a little bit of de-essing as well. And then I've saturated it. And looks like the kind of doubled vocal is mid-side EQ'd a bit. So must have went for a specific sound there. I think I have a really wide sounding.
Stopped and started with a.
Yeah, it sounds like shit on its own, but it sounds cool together.
Stopped and started with a.
And I bet you I'm doubling it. Yeah, so I was using the harmony module here and doing 2 unison, but then kind of detuning them and panning them. So it creates like a chorus effect, which gives it some width. So, sounds like this.
Stopped and started with a. Stopped and started with a. Stopped and started with a little spark.
And then everything releases. I think I had to manually turn this piano off because, again, it's sustaining. And why it's doing that, if we go into our edit mode here, you can see my hold pedal is engaged, which is causing it to just hold forever. So yeah, it builds up.
Stopped and started with a. Stopped and started with a. Stopped and started with a little spark. Started with a little spark. It ran like lightning.
So in the drop, we've got our big kick and snare. We've got a hi-hat, and then it kind of goes from just a hat to like a shaker and a tambo. We've got our acoustics going, but they're kind of like getting filtered. So that gives that pumping effect, which goes well with our swelling synth. And then our chords from the build up kind of have some little stabs going on where there's room in the mix. And I believe the bass and the basses are supporting that offbeat dunk dunk. And then after that, I mean, we got our leads, which are just little chops of Jordan's vocal. in a simpler instance and then played with the piano as MIDI, and that kind of transposes it up and down, so it sounds cool like this. There's one layer there, and then I've got a bassier layer, so all together they sound like this. So then that goes with, that kind of plays off of the vocals, which are going like...
Started with a little spark and ran like lightning. Started with a little spark, a fire.
I like this part. It's a full octave down mixed with the normal octave.
Started with a,
so you get that.
started with a.
And I actually did like I used Pro, Complex Pro, and set the formants about half and the envelope about half, and got like almost like a dirty sound.
Started with a.
And it cuts off really quick, so it's cool. And what else is going on in here? So we got our swelling synth, so I guess I should show you that. It's really simple. It's just my chords, and then it's Serum, I believe. And I've just set the LFO to make it do that swell. So LFO2 is what's doing that kind of swelling with the filter. And well, I guess I should look what else is going on here. So yeah, we've got pretty basic wavetable. I mean, this is pretty easy patch. I don't even know if this is... Okay, so it is one of my presets. But yeah, I mean, here's all the settings if you ever want to copy it. So flanger compressor, different oscillators. Here's my envelopes. But we can talk about synthesis and sound design in a different video. So that's my swelling synth. No piano during the chorus. Again, we've got these little guys. And this is just a cool patch based on my buddy Pagado. Really cool silent patch that he sent me. Super basic, saw wave, sine wave. There's your envelope for the amp. And yeah, there's a little bit of a cutoff amp going, or a cutoff envelope going, and a little bit of pitch detuning, but it's pretty straightforward. But that's that nice build-up chord we have. And actually in the second build-up, there's some cool stuff going on with my delay. It makes it sound almost like U2, like the Edge type of stuff that he does with his guitar. So that sounds cool in this build-up.
Stopped and started with a. Stopped and started with a. Stopped and started with a little spark. Stopped and started with it.
So yeah, a lot of my stuff's rolled off. I try to keep this 0 to 100 range very open for my sub and my kick. Let's see what I did with my sub. I'm pretty sure it's just a direct out. I guess that's a triangle wave, so that's why it's got a bit of a dirt to it. And just roll off a little bit, so it was probably a little bit too much beef. Low end energy takes up a lot of your headroom and a lot of energy from your speakers, so it's one thing you always got to try and keep in check. And then yeah, so we got all kinds of different effects going. So it looks like I created some white noise with just silence, so it's obviously just the noise wavetable. Pretty straightforward stuff. And then I'm automating a filter to make it sound like swishy. Couple little samples. So that's just adding some ambience. This one's cool. This is I don't even know what the original sound is like, but I'm using the frequency shifter in Ableton to make it turn like this kind of echoey vocal thing into a riser, so it sounds like this. So I really liked how that one turned out. And what we got, this little faller here. Looks like Serum. So it's just like a sine wave pitching down with some effects on it. And that pretty much is all the elements. And the rest is just composition, really, like the chords and arranging it. So yeah, so I'll play the last build up and the last little drop, and that is Spark.
Stopped and started with a, stopped and started with a, stopped and started with a little spark. Stopped and started with a, stopped and started with a, stopped and started with a little spark. Started with a little spark, then red like lightning. Started with a little spark, a fire burning.
All right, so yeah, I'm Eklo. That was Spark, and check out Shuffle for more videos from me on tutorials how to use Ableton. I'm going to link this cool dark skin I use in Ableton. I've been loving this skin, and I'd love to share it with you guys. And yeah, stay tuned for more videos.